there's a moment most people avoid. The room is quiet, no music, no phone, no distractions, and suddenly your mind gets loud. Not just thinking, but racing, replaying things, creating problems, pulling up memories you didn't ask for. And the strange part is, nothing is actually wrong, but it feels like something is. Silence isn't the problem. What silence does is remove everything that usually keeps your mind occupied. And when that happens, your brain doesn't relax. It starts working harder. Because your mind was never designed to sit in stillness. It was designed to scan, predict, and protect. So when the noise disappears, it doesn't feel like peace. It feels like something is missing. Most people think they overthink because something is wrong with them. But the truth is simpler. Your brain is trying to fill a gap, and silence creates the biggest gap there is. Think about how most of your day looks. There's always something playing. Music, videos, conversations, notifications. Even when you're alone, you're not really alone. There's always input. So your mind stays occupied with reacting to things instead of generating its own noise. But the moment everything stops, that's when your mind turns inward. And when it turns inward, it starts pulling from whatever is unresolved. Old conversations, small regrets, things you should have said, things you wish you handled differently. Not because they matter right now, but because they're available. Your brain doesn't choose what's important. It chooses what's unfinished. That's why silence feels uncomfortable. It forces you into contact with things you've been avoiding without even realizing it. And instead of seeing that clearly, most people try to escape it. They reach for their phone, turn something on, distract themselves. Not because they want stimulation, but because they don't want to feel what silence brings up. Over time, this creates a pattern. You stop being able to sit with your own mind. Even a few seconds of quiet starts to feel heavy, and the more you avoid it, the stronger that feeling becomes. But here's the part most people miss. Silence isn't creating the discomfort, it's revealing it. Everything your mind brings up in silence was already there. The noise just covered it. So when people say they can't relax in silence, what they really mean is they can't sit with what comes up when nothing is distracting them. And that's where the loop begins. You avoid silence, so your mind never settles. Your mind never settles, so silence feels worse. And the cycle keeps reinforcing itself. This is why even when life is calm, your mind isn't. You could have nothing going wrong. No real problems. No urgency. No pressure. And still feel restless. Because your mind is trained to fill space, not sit in it. And if it doesn't have real problems to solve, it will create them. It will analyze small things, overthink simple situations, turn neutral moments into something heavier than they need to be. Not because you're broken, but because your mind is trying to stay active. Activity feels safe. Stillness feels uncertain. But here's where things shift. The goal isn't to stop your thoughts. That never works. The more you try to quiet your mind, the louder it becomes. The goal is to understand what your mind is doing and stop reacting to it like every thought matters. Because most of what shows up in silence is just noise looking for your attention. When you sit in silence, your brain throws things at you: memories, ideas, worries, random thoughts. And it feels like you need to engage with them, like you need to solve something. But you don't. You can let a thought appear without following it. You can notice it without reacting to it. You can let it pass without building a story around it. That's the difference between being controlled by your mind and observing it. At first, this feels unnatural because you're used to reacting, used to getting pulled into every thought, used to trying to fix, analyze, or understand everything that appears. But most thoughts don't need to be understood. They just need to be seen and left alone. And the more you do that, the quieter your mind becomes. Not instantly, but gradually. Because your brain starts learning something new. That it doesn't need to fill every moment. That silence isn't a threat. That not every thought needs a response. And that's when silence starts to feel different. Not empty, not uncomfortable, but neutral. Then eventually, peaceful. But you don't get there by forcing it. You get there by stopping the habit of reacting to everything your mind produces. Most people spend their entire lives trying to escape silence, filling every gap with noise, avoiding stillness, distracting themselves constantly, and then wondering why their mind never slows down. But the mind doesn't slow down through more noise. It slows down when it learns that it doesn't need to keep producing it. And that only happens when you stop feeding every thought your attention. So the next time you find yourself in silence and your mind starts getting loud, don't try to escape it. Just notice what's happening. Notice how quickly your brain tries to fill the space. Notice how it jumps from one thought to another. Notice how it tries to pull you in. And instead of following it, let it run without you. You don't need to stop it. You just need to stop participating. Because silence isn't something to fix. It's something to get used to. And once you do, you realize something most people never see. Your mind was never the problem. Your reaction to it was, and silence was just showing you that all along.